Let's talk about the immune system. The immune system is a super important tool in the body to help both prevent infections as well as provide surveillance for mutating cells and preventing the development of, say, cancers or abnormal cells. So it's really important for us to have a strong, healthy, but not overreactive immune system. So when I think about immunity, I think about it in two ways. There's, when the immune system isn't functioning well in terms of, when people say my immune system's not good, they get infections a lot or, like I said, cancer development. So we're looking at maybe reasons for low immunity. And then we're also looking for overreaction of the immune system. So when the immune system goes into hyper phase, you can get, things like allergy, asthma, eczema, all of those things where you're overreacting to maybe things in the environment, or autoimmunity. And when we talk about autoimmunity, we're talking about conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, where the immune system is attacking the lining of the joints, or lupus, where the immune system can attack the skin or any of the organs in the body. Psoriasis, which is an autoimmune condition of the skin. MS, which is an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks the myelin sheath or the lining of the nerves, so signals can't be transmitted properly. Hashimoto's thyroiditis, where the immune system attacks the thyroid and over time decreases thyroid function. So there's a wide variety of autoimmune diseases that can come from the immune system becoming overreactive. So like many imbalances in the body, the immune system can be knocked out of balance by a variety of different factors. And like most chronic problems in the body, it comes down to many of the lifestyle pillars of health. For example, sleep is critical to immune function. Sleeping less than 6 to 7 hours a night can worsen immune function. And we can all think of times when we were run down, we were busy, we were up late preparing for work or up early and not getting enough sleep, and then you get a cold because the sleep wasn't good. The same goes for stress. When we are under a lot of stress, the immune system function, remember, stress is going to activate the hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, which kick in life-sustaining functions in the moment, but turn off healing, repairing, restoring immunity. So when we're under stress all the time, the immune system fails as well. Again, sleep and stress, we can all think of times when those things were high and we get sick. Nutrition impacts the immune system. The things that we eat that are going to decrease immunity, probably the biggest is sugar. So if I don't mention sugar in every video I do, I would be remiss because it's responsible for so much of what gets out of balance in our bodies. What else can impact immunity? Well, nutrient deficiencies can impact it. The biggest of which being vitamin D. I can't tell you, all of our patients who come into our office get a vitamin D level checked, and more than half of them actually have deficient levels below the range, not even just in the low part of the range, but out of the range. So vitamin D is very critical for maintaining normal immune function, both in fighting infections as well as preventing and controlling autoimmune symptoms and inflammation. There are other vitamins that we don't necessarily measure that can be good for the immune system. And, especially in these days of, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, when we didn't have a lot of tools either to prevent the infection or to treat the infection, one of the only things you could think of to do was, hey, let's do things to balance the immunity. And I actually made up a list, a checklist for my kids and my family. Now they're all teenagers, so they thought I was absolutely nuts. And it was a checklist that they had to check off that they did every day. And it was, taking certain vitamins like their vitamin C, their zinc, their vitamin D. So check, they had to do that every day. Sleep 8 hours, check, you had to do it. Now they had a very different sleep schedule than me because school was all remote, and in the beginning it was asynchronous. We all know what that word means nowadays. That means that the teacher wasn't in front of them, they just had work to do whenever they wanted. So they would stay up till 4 but I would insist that they slept till noon to get that 8 hours of sleep for their immune system. I put stress management on that list of how to boost the immune system. And for them, for managing your anxiety, I would have them do 10 minutes of deep breathing. And not only that, but connect. So I insisted that we, ate dinner as a family, or we spent some time with each other doing some activity so that they weren't having such isolation, which is a stressor on humans. We weren't made to be isolated. I put on that list, eating 5 different fruits and 5 different vegetables a day and 1 fruit a day of different colors. So they had to check off that they did their fruits and vegetables. So nutrition, is very important, and limiting sugar, which is hard to do for teenagers. Also on that list, I had them do something to keep their mind engaged. So that list of what to do for immunity covered all of the pillars of health: the sleep, the stress management, the nutrition, exercise. So they had to lift weights 3 days a week. They had to do aerobic activity 5 days a week. So all of those things that I had my family do, none of it was going to prevent COVID, but the goal was to boost the immune system, so if the infection came to us, their bodies would be best able to handle it. On the other end of the spectrum, there's that autoimmunity that I mentioned, or that overreaction of the immune system. And really, in many cases, that comes down to gut health, and making sure, again, that our nutrition and exercise and stress management is under control so that the lining of the gut doesn't get damaged, avoiding medications that damage the gut lining. Also, eating foods that promote healthy bacteria growth in the gut, taking probiotics, and sometimes even using certain medications that help balance the immunity and tamp down the autoimmune side without impacting or negatively affecting the infection fighting side of the immune system. So there are a variety of tacks you can take. There are supplements that you can use, and even medications that can help balance the immune system.